What is a big mistake that you've made that you think changed your life?
Society tends to tell us who we should be, how we should be. And mostly it's a lie, unfortunately. We're being put into a box.
How did you become the CEO?
I could give you 1,000 things: change, confidence, clarity. Forget all that crap. They can take your money and they can take your car. They can take your house. They can never take what you know.
Do you think everyone should be thinking about the long game?
Well, it depends on whether you want to be happy.
A few weeks ago, I interviewed James Keys, a 70-year-old who is best known as the former CEO of mega corporations 7-Eleven and Blockbuster. I've been trying to set up a date with James for over a year now, not only because he helped grow one of my favorite Japanese brands, 7-Eleven, but he also was there when Blockbuster went bust. The lessons that James shares today are powerful, not just in business, but in life, as he tries to navigate what it means to get older and why he thinks age is a completely irrelevant statistic. So without further ado, let's jump into it. How old are you?
That's not fair. You can't start with that. I'm like as old as a dinosaur. I just turned... No, you can't. No. Oh, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm like a chick.
You're 70, right?
Oh, shit. You said it. Yeah.
What does it feel like to be 70?
Weird. Yeah.
You don't feel like you're 70, obviously.
I don't feel like I'm 40.
What makes you say that?
Age is just time. Life is about so much more than time.
A lot of people who are your age, I'd say, are either retired or I'd say feel a lot different than you. Probably a lot worse.
People get caught up in age, and they get to the point that they say, like, retirement. What is retirement? I've never understood that concept. Like, why would you want to do nothing?
Yeah, I think because they probably don't do what they liked before, and it's an escape from what they don't like. But you love it.
Replace it with something you like.
Right. Why do you think people don't do it? Like what you just said.
Society tends to tell us what we should be, right? Who we should be, how we should be. And mostly it's a lie, unfortunately. It's a stereotype. We're being put into a box. You're a worker, you're this or you're that, and becomes our identity. And then when that goes away, we don't even have an identity left. It's my responsibility to take my life in my hands. Nobody else is going to do that for me.
Yeah.
Your mom, your dad. Now, I lost both of mine when I was really young, and that may have helped because it caused me to be fiercely independent.
Right.
But like everybody else, I grew up in an environment where there was tremendous pressure to conform. I just never wanted to be defined by someone else's rules, and instead felt that if I'm doing the right things, then I can create my own identity and create my own opportunity. And it worked.
For someone who's watching or listening and they don't know who you are, what do we need to know about how you grew up and your childhood to understand the version of you today?
Literally, I grew up in like this 3-room shack, and it was a shack. We literally had cardboard boxes instead of wallboard. They couldn't afford wallboard back in the day. People say, "Oh my God, it's horrible. You were poor." I didn't think we were poor. We were just normal.
Didn't feel poor?
No, never felt poor.
Yeah. What made you not feel poor?
I never felt underprivileged. I almost felt advantaged in a way because I had far fewer rules and boundaries around my life.
Would you say that reflects better on your parents and how they brought you up? Or is that just you being more of a curious, adventurous person, or a little bit of both?
I don't want to slam my parents, but because of the circumstances,
right.
And my mom was gone. She bailed out when I was 5. And my dad was in and out of the hospital. So I was kind of on my own from pretty much, let's say, 6 or 7 years old until my dad died when I was 12. It forced me to grow up very, very quickly and be responsible for myself. It was actually my competitive advantage today to have developed that independence, resiliency, and living without a safety net.
You think too many people are stuck in the safety net?
Yeah, I don't have any children, and I'd have a really hard time if I did, because you have to throw them out of the nest. They have to learn to fly.
Yeah.
And most of us especially those of us who grew up with challenging childhoods, want to pamper your kids. I'd want to give them everything.
Right.
And it'd probably be the worst thing I could do.
So what is a piece of advice that they gave you that has stuck with you?
I put it in the book, and I talk about my dad in the book and said, he used to tell me that they can take your money and they can take your car, they can take your house. He didn't realize this because he is sick at the time, but they did. They condemned our house and literally threw us out. But he used to say that they can never take what you know. Learn as much as you can, because no one can ever take that away from me.
You were the CEO of 7-Eleven in 2000, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You're 45, I think, at that time around.
Now, yeah.
How did you become the CEO?
I could give you 1,000 things: change, confidence, clarity.
Yep.
Forget all that crap. When it comes to us individually as people, our integrity, our gratitude, our humility, our compassion for others, our ability to listen and work, collaborate with other people, all of those are skills that really represent our brand. It was probably less than 15 years from joining the company to becoming CEO of the company. I had sat in virtually every chair. And now it's time to name a CEO, probably a logical evolution.
So you think because you were as curious and willing to bounce around and learn as many aspects of the business, that's what made you, quote unquote, the most valuable?
Yes, leadership is really learning. And if you can make a commitment to learning, and think about how you learn, the best way to learn is when you're outside of that comfort zone. When you're in a space that you know nothing about and you're forced to humble yourself and learn it.
What do you have to give up to become that kind of person and go through that kind of path?
It's the long game.
Yeah.
We all sell ourselves short for immediate gratification. I want a nicer house. I want a nicer car. It's all about the salary. It's not any different than when we were in school. And many of our friends bailed out, said, I want a nicer car, so I'm just going to get a job right now. And those of us who toughed it out with maybe a lesser car or less money to have fun with, eventually it paid off. And it's the same thing in the work world. Do you want your gratification now, or do you want to put in the time, put in the effort, and be great down the road? What's the ultimate objective? Is the ultimate objective money? If it's to be rich, you're probably in the wrong game. For everybody that's stuck in a job and they're not sure where they're going and they're saying, I'm not getting any farther in this role. I'll see a promotion coming. Here's my number one criteria. Are you learning? And if you're still learning, then stay at it. If you stop learning and stop growing and you're still not getting promoted or you're not getting other opportunities, then it's probably time to switch.
What do you think makes a great CEO, great leader? I know you have to have the trust of thousands, hundreds and thousands of people.
Yeah, it's critically important for leadership to have those basic elements of humanity, really. Let's face it, who wants to follow a leader who you can't trust, who has no compassion, who is arrogant? Okay, but I know leaders who don't have integrity. I know people who lie. How come they're successful? And here's my response to that. Anyone can break the rules. Anyone can cheat. Anyone can lie and succeed for a period of time. So again, are you in it for the long game? Is it sustainable leadership qualities? Sustainable success? Or is it flash in the pan?
Do you think everyone should be thinking about the long game?
Well, it depends on whether you want to be happy. I think happiness comes back to the long game.
With everything.
With everything. And we make those choices every single day.
If I'm feeling lost and stuck in life and I want to change that, what is a question that I should ask myself to get a little closer to that? You said you've been journaling for a long time. Imagine this like a journal prompt.
Turn to my page. I've been journaling since college.
Really?
Literally.
You have them?
Yeah.
Still?
What's on my mind today? And I said, gratitude. On this beautiful spring day, here I am in Montreal. I can't help but think of renewal because it's spring, right? Everything's growing, blooming. And I think renewal means opportunity, right? And I'm grateful for every day, every new adventure, and every unlimited opportunity. And that's how I get out of that rut, because every once in a while I do. I'm like, hell, what am I doing?
You're not married, right?
No, I
Not,
am.
you're married? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How long have you been married for?
It's exactly 35 years,
35? Yeah.
something like that.
I think 56% of marriages end in divorce. You've been 35 plus years in a, I'm assuming, happy relationship.
Yeah.
What do you think has been the key or the keys to that success?
Tolerance. She tolerates me.
Yeah.
Humor. Every marriage is going to face some things that make you unhappy, but do you let that eat at you and make you upset and angry, or do you respect the fact that they're a human too, and like you know, they do dumb things from time to time?
Yeah.
And you know what? We'll get past this.
So 35 years with your wife.
Yeah.
Can you define the word love for me?
That's a hard one. I don't think love can be defined. I think love can only be felt. I heard that dogs have particularly the breed I have is golden retriever, and they have a disproportionate amount of oxytocin, I think it is. And I look at my golden retriever and I see that you know, you could beat this dog and it would come back wagging its tail going, "I still love you, Dad," you know.
Not that you do.
No.
Clear the air for everyone.
No. I absolutely love my dog. No.
Yeah.
And now my wife's going to be watching this and go, "He asked you about love and you talk about your dog?"
Yeah, we're going to send it to her for sure.
Yeah, I know.
We'll put you under the microscope.
Of course. But I thought dogs could be something everybody could relate to, because not everybody's married, right? And everybody understands the love of a pet, of an animal, and they generate this unconditional love. And I think that's at the heart of love, the idea that it truly can be unconditional.
What is a big mistake that you've made or a big regret you're looking back on life that you think changed your life?
Answering that last question.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good answer. You're going to need it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
If you can share once again one piece of life advice that you filled out here and then why that's the advice you chose.
If you think about everything I've been talking about, everything I've been teaching, all kind of comes back to the biggest single obstacle that each of us as humans face, and they face out there in society at large, is fear. And if we can overcome our fear, and that's that little man on the shoulder that says, "You're not smart enough, you're not good enough," it starts with us. It starts inside, our own fear. And then it's fear of those people out there. And, oh my gosh, what are they thinking? What are they going to do to me?
Yeah.
And you should have panned the camera. That would have been...
I was following your eyes.
I'm afraid of those two cute little Asian girls that walked by. It just caused me incredible fear.
Oh my God. Thank you, Joe.
Oh, no, this is fun. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, guess what? We actually released the full-length interview, every single second of advice, on our podcast channel, Seeds of Success. You can check out the full interview by clicking the link right over here and subscribing. Thanks again, and see you next week.